Yeah, being inducted into the Gateway PGA Hall of Fame is very special. It's something you really, you don't do what you do every day thinking that that's going to happen. And when I got the call from Mike Surrey here recently about being inducted into the Hall of Fame, it became closure to me. And by meaning closure, I mean you look back and you see all the things from a player standpoint, from a teacher standpoint, from the standpoint of servicing your membership, building and designing golf courses, and sometimes you sit there and you say, you know, you look, what did I really accomplish? And this has given me a reflection to sit back and to look back at the period of time when I got here from 1976 to today and realize that something very special in my life has happened.
Back in 1976 is the year that I met Mike. He came to town from Pontiac, Michigan, and he and his wife moved here. He was a farmer player at Texas A&M on the golf team, and he played for a PGA Tour player that was the golf coach at Texas A&M named Henry Ransom. Henry taught Mike a lot of his golf skills and how to teach. When he came to town, St. Louis, I was really the first golf professional, and Mike will tell you that he met, and we've stayed good friends ever since. But he also taught me a lot that Henry taught him, and that was good for me. And then I actually went with Mike down to see Henry a couple times in Texas. So a lot of my teaching and my understanding of the golf swing and the golf game came through Mike and Henry. So Mike was a pro at Sunset Country Club for 10 years, and we became close teaching buddies also, where we helped teach different people. I would send people to him. He would then send people to me, depending on the location where they were here in town.
Pontiac and Detroit was home for me, and as a youngster growing up, we had a number of golf courses outside the city. And when I got to be 12 years old, I did probably the most important thing I ever did in my life, and that was go get 6 caddy lessons at Pine Lake Country Club. And as I got through the program, it took me a while to get out. It took me a month and a half or 2 months to get my first loop, so to speak. But from that moment on, my perspective of seeing what life was in a city and seeing life what at a country club was like, it changed my perspective on a number of things. Number one, they found out when I was in the 4th grade I had trouble reading and writing. And I was very fortunate to see something very different in the people that I caddied for. And as I started caddying, it became a way of life that I thought someday I would like to do something like this. And as the time went on, I realized how important that the people were at Pine Lake Country Club. We had Caddy Member Day, where the caddy could play with a member. We had Caddy Lady Day, where a caddy could play with a lady. And then we had Mondays that we could play golf. And as a result of all those things, I was a very good athlete, but it was primarily baseball, football, basketball. And as time went on, my golf game got good enough on Monday. By the time I was a junior in high school, I said, you know, this is something I might be able to do.
Well, Mr. Murphy, my longtime Wednesday Dirty Dozen guy, very involved in the golf game, and always making Wednesdays a joyful time to get together with all the old guys that play. A few years back, he introduced me to a gentleman who was a Hall of Famer baseballer, and Mr. Ozzie Smith decided to start joining us on Wednesdays when he was available. And through this intervention of bringing Ozzie in with us on Wednesdays and playing with the Dirty Dozen, we got Ozzie interested in golf.
I got a call from the committee, Tom Halverson and Mr. Burkhart and Mr. Lager, Mr. Poor and Charlie Morgan. And they said, Mike, would you like to come to St. Louis? And I said, absolutely, because it was a great baseball town, number one. And by the way, the 1967 Cardinals won against the Yankees, but in 1968, we, the Detroit Tigers, beat the Cardinals. So I was interested from the standpoint of being a baseball town and playing golf because baseball was always a great interest of mine. So coming to St. Louis was very easy for me and my wife. And I was there for 10 years, enjoyed all 10 years. And we had 3 World Series here, by the way, in 82, 85, and 87. And I became very close friends because of the Anheuser-Busch Club. Mr. Rorty was a great friend of mine out of Detroit, and he ran sports marketing. And as a result of Mr. Rorty, I started doing things that I never imagined to. I traveled and I had people come into town. Played with Bob Hope in 1985. He called me one day and he says, Mr. Hope's coming into town. And I said, would you like to play with him? And I said, well, how can you say no to that? So I entertained Bob Hope that year in 1985. But Stan Musial was also a member. And those of us that weren't in the National League, we were in American League back home, we knew Stan Musial. And the second day I was here, Stan sat down and told me all about St. Louis and the things to look forward to. And baseball was one of them. And it really turned out that within the 10 years I was there and being at the Anheuser-Busch Club, I got very close to Whitey Herzog. I got very close to Ozzie Smith. And as our story continues, you'll see all this tying in to what really happened here for me was the Gateway PGA Foundation.
Hi, Mike Murphy. Well, buddy, you finally made it to the end of the road. I want to thank you, first of all, for allowing me the opportunity to enjoy the game of golf. If it wasn't for you, if you remember back to some 14 years ago, I was thinking about returning to California when you came to me and you asked me if I'd be interested in being the president of the Gateway chapter of the PGA to bring about some awareness and use my celebrity to bring more attention. Well, thank you so much for that because it's been one of the rides of my life. I've enjoyed it tremendously. I think we've done some wonderful things. We continue to do some wonderful things. And there's been 2 people that has been very instrumental in my remaining here in St. Louis or being a part of the scene here in St. Louis. One being Whitey Herzog, who brought me here in 1981, and having the opportunity to meet you, Mike, through Whitey Herzog's foundation and introducing me to the game of golf. I want to thank you, and I want to say congratulations on a job very well done and something very deserving. Congratulations, old friend.
Mike, congratulations. It's a well-deserved honor. I really, I don't want to say envy you because it's a well-deserved honor that you have spent your whole life working on. And from the bottom of my heart, I thank you so very, very much, not only for the honor that you received, but for being my friend for a long, long time. Thanks, Mike. It's greatly appreciated.
Congratulations.